Hello, my name is Valeria Marin. I'm part of the psychologist team at INSER, and I'm gonna be hosting this beautiful space of stories that connect us with the heart. We're gonna have the wonderful opportunity to be with Willy and Leidy, who are gonna talk to us about the miracle called Emmanuel, a great miracle that is worth sharing this story. Welcome, Willy and Leidy.
Good afternoon. Excellent. Happy to be here with you.
Thank you so much for being part of this space that I know is going to be wonderful for everyone who is going to listen to us today. I would like to start this beautiful testimony asking a question. How did it start? What was the moment that marked the beginning of this search of this so desired baby that is Emmanuel? Well, it started when we already had 3 years of marriage and we realized that we couldn't get pregnant. Something's going on, something is not working, and then we started doing tests and going to doctors, and every place we went, we always found a no. No, it's not possible. And they start to break this hope of being a parent, and you start to lose yourself in this. So we started to think about leaving this idea behind, and we relaxed. And a certain day I went out with a friend, and she asked me, so do you want to have children? Why don't you have children? And I was super sad. I would love to, but every place we've been to, we find a no for an answer that it's not possible to become parents. And she asked me, do you know INSER? Have you been there? And I told her I have no idea. And she said, it's a place of fertility specialists. I have a friend there. Let me give you the information and you can go. She gave me all the information. The next day, I called, I got all the information, and I got the appointment.
Actually, it was an enormous blessing to have received information about INSER. We had no idea. And it was a blessing to arrive there. And we'll be talking to you about how this marvelous journey has taken place to achieve this miracle.
Okay. When you go to INSER in that first moment, what was the thing that touched your heart? I know there's a story there, a beautiful story to share.
Well, I remember like it was yesterday. When we arrived at the facilities for INSER and we saw the mural full of pictures of babies that have been achieved through this institution, and I remember that I came to tears. I started to cry, and I hugged my wife, and I told her with enormous faith that the next picture on this mural would be our baby.
And it's like that. It started and it's a reality. How was that experience of treatment? How was that experience, that time? How was it?
Okay, I have to be frank. Initially, as my wife said, we arrived with great expectations without knowing what we would be facing. And when we had our first consultation, we were full of faith after so many negative responses in one place after another, and we found a light of hope in the words of Dr. Lopez, who treated us and gave us great probabilities of becoming parents. And I recall that I said, I want to start now. My desire was to start immediately, and it was a beautiful path. In INSER, in the accompaniment, everything was very clear from the beginning. And each of the phases has strengthened us as a couple, as husband and wife. The accompaniment of INSER from the beginning until the end, until achieving, having Emmanuel in our arms was complete. Because, among other things, my love's pregnancy, at some points we had to reach out to a doctor for a diagnosis and different consultations, and we found responses of hope, certainty, and faith that Emmanuel would be born and healthy. And that is how it happened. The process that we've gone through has been marvelous.
So wonderful. I think it is the only place where they didn't break our dreams. They put our hopes up and they made us believe that it was going to be possible, and it was like that. Of course, is to leave the seed of hope. When I talk to you, I always think that your testimony is a testimony of faith and hope from beginning to end, and it's what you feel every time you share that story. While going under treatment, what was the most difficult thing? What treatment did you have? What treatment did you have to go through?
The treatment that we applied, or that they applied for us, was in vitro. ICSI, I'm sorry. And among all of the characteristics of this miracle, it was a macro miracle. Because at the time we didn't have, I guess, so much ease or facilities, and we just had the treatment of one cycle. And so the adverse situations that we faced included the loss of our first embryo, because, to be honest, when my wife received the first transfer, we felt parents. It was one transfer, and at that moment we already felt like parents. And so there are challenging moments when we went through the first test and they told us this embryo was not successful. We're going to prepare for a second attempt. Then they unfroze 2 embryos and transferred it to my love, and once again a negative response, and so we had a final attempt. And really, faith plays an important role, because it was like our last shot. They unfroze one last time and transferred, and despite the adversities and difficult moments, this strengthened us as a couple and as a family. We were strengthened by the knowledge that if this is a promise of God, that it would come true. And in our third attempt, we were able to get a positive result.
How was that joy for you? How did you take the news? It was very exciting. Yes, it was. That day that I was on my way to the test, honestly, I didn't feel pregnant. I had already failed in the 2 previous attempts, and that last time, my body didn't tell me that I was pregnant. That morning I cried a lot, and my husband held my hand. Take it easy. This is the time. This is our time. And that gave me a lot of hope.
Oh, right, but wait, I have to say something, because it was the anxiety of receiving the news. I remember when the Dr. Lopez called us to give us the excellent positive news. We had gone out shopping just to distract ourselves, and in the middle of that, I received the call, and when the doctor said that we were pregnant, I got on my knees in the middle of our city, downtown, to cry next to my wife's stomach, and the people around us who didn't know us started to applaud, and it was a very exciting moment. It was unforgettable.
It really touches me. I've listened to this story so many times, but every time is so special, and I thank you for sharing it, because it was the victory moment. After so much struggle, after so much desire, how not to celebrate? I'm going to ask you here, why Emmanuel? Tell me about the name. Why did you choose it? I know it's related to the story, and to what you have done with the story. It's a testimony that you have been spreading. Well, Emmanuel means God with us, and I think that God for sure has been with us from the beginning. We have put ourselves in His hands, and from the beginning He's been there, attending our needs. When we thought there were no exits, He showed the way.
And there was something that drew my attention when we spoke to Dr. Lopez after a negative response. We said, Doctor, what happened? And I have to be sincere, I loved when he said that medically I don't know, but the one up top knows why. He knows which embryo will be your baby. And that gave us a lot of faith. And that was where we really decided on the name Emmanuel, because the name before the treatment was going to be different. We were going to choose a different name for our baby. He was going to be named Jerónimo. But when we started this process, our ideas changed, and we said, okay, if God has been with us in each step that we've taken and has taken us by the hand in each of these processes, then He will be with us for the rest of our lives. And that's why our child is named Emmanuel.
That's so good. I have to add something. Wherever we go, in a supermarket, a mall, there's always something looking at Emmanuel. Always they say, he's so wonderful, he's so nice, and he's so beautiful. And of course, my husband comes in and says, let me tell you the story of Emmanuel. Did you know that Emmanuel was frozen? And then he tells the story from the beginning. How was it? Everything, the process with the eggs. He gets really excited with the testimony, with the story. And people get really excited when they listen to this, because a lot of people don't know that this exists. And we are in Pereira. A lot of people don't know that INSER is so close to us. And for them to listen to a story like this, it's magical, it's unique, because it's never been heard before.
Totally. And as my queen says, wherever we are, please, there is no day in which I don't tell someone the miracle of Emmanuel. It's true. It could be a coffee at any location. As my love says, they say it's such a beautiful child, and we say you can't imagine the miracle, and we tell the story. And to add to what my love says, it has been very helpful because there are occasions where we start a dialogue with someone who we don't even know. And people even come to tears because they're also in a process of a search, and maybe they've abandoned the dream or that the desire of being parents due to negative diagnostics. And when they hear a story like this from normal people who you can meet anywhere, that gives them faith and hope. And it's wonderful to be a source of hope for people who have been through or are going through the same thing that we went through.
Of course, and that's so wonderful that you can see it like that you can see it in that way. And I think that being able to share the testimony in any place, in any corner, at any time, well, it's like that. It's a voice of hope that is spreading, and that we know that this topic of fertility, even though it's more common, there are so many people living it in silence that suffer without knowing what to do. And this space and this event is precisely for that, for people that are listening to your story, realize that there are possibilities, that there are always possibilities. And this is not only a miracle, a love miracle of faith and perseverance as a couple, but there's a team that this wonderful place adds a lot. How Emmanuel has strengthened the family, the relationship, the life, and the meaning of life for you?
Perfect. So I have the privilege of saying that he has strengthened our marriage, our life as a family, completely. We've always been a very united couple, but starting the treatment has allowed us to get involved in each of the phases of the processes that my love has had to go through. I'll tell you an anecdote. In the moment in which my love was receiving stimulation before receiving or going through Excel samples at a shopping center, I had to apply a hormone that had to be applied at a certain time of day. And so these are experiences that have brought us together, that have strengthened the relationship, that have allowed us to even see life with a new color. First, because we've had that common dream, and because in each of the phases that we've gone through, we've understood that our marriage is so much more worthwhile, and much more now that we have Emanuele.
Besides, we are looking for a second child. We want to give Emmanuel a sibling. Do you want to say something about this process? A little pill?
Of course. A lot of people around us say we're crazy because to start an adventure like this of having a baby through these means isn't easy, but it's worthwhile. Completely, it's worth it. So much that Emmanuel has turned 3 years old last month, and we are now searching for a brother or sister for Emmanuel. And now we have even higher probabilities because we decided to acquire a more complete package. We want to have more peace of mind in each of the phases of the process. Right now we have a frozen embryo that will soon be transferred to my queen. And so every time we're invited to share this testimony with you or anywhere else, we do it with love and with all of our heart, because we've been fortunate. We feel blessed. And we hope that when we achieve this second miracle, you continue to invite us to share that story.
Of course, for sure. I know it's going to be another beautiful story. A second miracle. And I hope it's like that. And I like it when you say that this is not an easy path. It's a complex path that is worthwhile. Why? Don't tell me, but tell to the people who are listening, why is it worthwhile, this process, this path that sometimes seems so strange, so different, that it doesn't seem from day to day life, like out of a movie. Why is it worthwhile?
Well, it's worthwhile because sometimes, or in general, those of us who come to this point are here with diagnostics that have hurt us. I say it from our experience, and my queen knows that this is true. On occasions when we left from a specialist's office, I left crying, leaning on walls and devastated when I was told it was not possible, you won't be parents. And so to hear those negative responses, it hurts you, and it makes you see a very gray landscape. And when we realize that there is a light of hope, that's where it's worthwhile to make the decision to start that journey. And it's not a journey that you'll travel alone, or that my wife will travel alone. It's one that we will travel together. And in each of the phases of that process, we will become stronger. As a couple, we will fall in love more as a couple. And surely in the reaching of that dream thing, this will bring us more together. And we always say, we don't have a child, we have a miracle. And that gives more value to the day in which we decided to start this journey.
That's so beautiful. I have no words. I'm speechless. I don't know. Maybe Leidy can enlighten us with her words, because this is so beautiful being able to listen to this. Well, I think that it's important to cheer up all the couples that are going through this with the desire to be parents. Don't surrender. Don't give up this dream. At a moment, after so many negatives, we forgot about the dream. But I invite you not to give up. That even if you have faced negatives or bad diagnoses, don't give up. Sometimes you feel like all the doors are closed, that there are no opportunities, nothing to do. But I invite you to knock on INSER doors. They're specialists in making the dream of being parents come true. It's a very committed team. They're very professional, and every couple is going to receive the right treatment, and you're going to be successful.
I'd like to say something, and it's that when we arrived at the doors of INSER, a large light of hope lit up in our lives, and we were able to understand that the circumstances that we were going through, despite adversities, they weren't really closing the doors for us to become parents. They were opening the doors to a path that seemed difficult but would bring us together as a couple, and that we had been chosen by God to have an experience in this world, in our existence, that would mark not just our lives, but the lives of the people around us. And this is where we realize that as of that moment, we wouldn't be searching for a baby, we would be searching for a miracle, which is now named Emmanuel, and that's why it's worthwhile.
If you had the chance to change the story, and if you had the possibility of having a baby through the expected way, the natural way, and you're offered this possibility, what would you choose? Honestly, I will go through this again. It's being so fruitful for us. It has strengthened us as a couple. Our marriage life has been really beautiful, but now, together with Emmanuel, this is a beautiful show. Everything is sealed. Every moment is sealed with every experience we have with Emmanuel. I would definitely not change this story. And if I had to choose to go through it again, I would do it.
And we're doing that. And I'd like to add to that from my perspective. The problem of fertility is on my side. And at some point I felt devastated, and I told my wife, this is so sad, I can't give you the baby that you want, that we want. But if I had to choose, and we've talked about this, I would choose every time to go through this experience, because it's led us to value our child. Every time we see those eyes, every time we hug him, and when he's by our side, he lights up our lives. And I would do it again, so much so that we're looking for a second baby, and we truly feel fortunate, privileged to have lived this and to have been chosen for this.
I dare to ask this question. It's not an easy question, it's a difficult one, because I know it's like that. I've always said that going through all this process, it might be really hard in the beginning. It can be very scary, and we can be frustrated. But when we come to the point where you are, where Emmanuel is already 3 and looking for a second baby, and life and all this journey means something else. And it's so valuable for people to listen to this from you as a family. It's not us as professionals saying this. it's the family saying, because it motivates them so much to start. You were gonna say something.
I think it's fabulous. Yes. Considering the time that we have, I'd like to have the privilege of introducing my baby, so we can show you that miracle that God has given us. Mother, can you please bring the baby?
Yeah, let's take advantage of these 5 minutes that we have left.
We have a couple of minutes.
And we have been listening to him already.
Yeah, come, my love. Come here.
Ah, this is so exciting. Come here, honey. Let me introduce you to a friend. Hi, Emmanuel.
Hello.
Hello.
Say hello. How are you?
He's so beautiful.
You happy? How old are you? How many?
How old?
3. Show them your fingers. 3 fingers, very good. This is our miracle. This is Emmanuel. And so if you ask, is it worthwhile? This is the answer, completely.
Thank you so much. I want to cry already. Emmanuel, thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Send a kiss. Send a kiss. Send a kiss. Send a kiss with your hand.
A kiss.
That's very good, my love. Very good.
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
These are the things that touches our hearts. All the people that are listening and watching you after this closure are gonna feel hopeful about this process, and I wish you the best for this second attempt, for a second miracle.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being part of Voices of Hope, of these testimonies that connects with the heart.
I'd like to end telling you thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Because to have arrived at INSER and find a team so well prepared and with such human warmth opened doors that we once thought were closed. And it opened doors that now call us Father and
so
Mother.
Much.
Thank you.
We are very fortunate to being able to tell our story and to bring hope to so many couples that are going through the same. Thank you. Thank you so much.